Hey. Here we go. The tunnel, green tunnel. This is where we come from. Titta här. Oj, wood beauty. Love this place. So, here today I came specially have a little coffee in this environment, but the point of this video today is to talk about three knife. I've been tagged by my friend Martin from NorwegianWoods to do a video about my favorite knife, my latest knife and my cheapest knife, and I accept the challenge, even if I'm not very used to do this kind of purely gears video, but I thought it was a funny idea, and why not? I will try to do that, even if I don't think I'm really good at talking in front of a camera. It's not something I feel very comfy with, but I will try it, and I will trust my friend on this. The three knives that I'm going to be presenting here are laguiole. It's a classic French knife, very classic. It's the old folding knife design. I don't know how old it is with the concept of this knife, but it's probably several centuries. It's a very classic knife made in the aubrac. Folding knife. This is my favorite. It's a knife that's been offered to me because so it has a sentimental value. Then the thing with these knives, they're coming from an area which is quite famous for doing knife, coutellerie in France, Thiers. And this is the most classical design you can find. You can see the, maybe, I hope you see the small details of this knife. It's made of cow horn, and the steel is 12C27, which is a good steel that doesn't rust. It's stainless steel. It's a steel that's been invented specially for doing knife, so it's quite easy to sharp, and it's holding age relatively okay. But I think the main thing of this knife is that it's quite hard stainless steel and easy to sharp. It has a little bit of flexibility, but not too much. I like this knife a lot because it's a real old-fashioned classic EDC. This is the knife that all the men were having in their pockets. It's a very farmer knife. This, I can remember my grandpa having this for heating. It's very a knife that is used for food preparation and eating. It's very good for bread. I love this because I'm a bread eater. I mean real bread, a bread with a hard crust, and it's very perforing, so it's very good for this. And yeah, it's a old classic, and I like a bit like old-fashioned things. It's definitely not a knife I would take down a tree with, but it's a favorite knife. It's adds lots of value for me, and it's my history. So that was it. Wait, I'm attacked with this. This or I don't know if you see this. I'm not sure you could see this, but this is the payout for those ones. They're really like flying insects, and they go on their host, and they lose their wings, and then they just creeping around and sucking your blood. There's a lot here. I hate those ones, really. So, second knife I want to talk about is the Skrama. Skrama. It's my cheapest knife. It costs 60 euros, and it's one of my favorites. Definitely, it's. I think it's probably the best knife I have for the value. It's the cheapest, and it's as well one of the best. It's definitely the best steel I have in all my knife. I wouldn't take the axe in the competition, but we're just talking about knives, and the steel of this knife is I think it's 80. I don't remember the name of this. 80 CR 20 or something. It's very good steel. It's roasting. It's a roaster, but it's a very hard and very good steel. And you have a lot of it. It's 500 grams, so it's pretty heavy. Still packable in a small backpack. It goes in. I love this knife because it's very balanced. You have like balance point here, so you really have a good prehension here. It's very easy to be precise with this, and at the same time you still have the machete weight here when you hold it like this, or even like this, and you have a lot of speed and a lot of weight, so a lot of power. It's a real beast. An huggare. It's a knife that is made to clean pine trees, cut all the branches. It's a knife you would definitely take down small trees with. It's a knife as well that you would be able to do food preparation without to cut your fingers, but it's not as good as a smaller knife, of course, for it. This is my cheapest knife, and as well one of my favorite. It's a very good value. Yep, that was the Skrama. And I'm gonna stop the fire here. So that was the Skrama, my cheapest knife. Here is the Axeblade. This is my latest knife. I'm a bit double with this knife. I think I don't like the look of this knife. It looks like a wannabe knife, It wants to look more than it is, but I would say that it's a knife that is better than it looks. I think I don't like the name of this Axeblade, because when you think Axeblade you think some kind of mix between a knife and an axe, and this is definitely not an axe. It's more of a mix between a knife and a machete, I would say. You would be closer to what it is. This is not a knife you are extremely comfy for food preparation. If you take the whole spectrum of use with knife, I think you would go, for me, it goes from food preparation to take down a tree. So in that spectrum of cutting tools, I would more go on the axe, on the cutting tree and carpenting and like building a log house. I would use an axe, but you could probably do it with a big knife as well. It would not go that easy, of course, but this is definitely more on the machete knife range. I think it's better than it looks, because when you see this knife you see a lot of small features that are much more aesthetical than really practical. I can think about these things here. You could use this to do fire. Of course, it's okay. It's the same steel here as this one. That's the same stainless steel called. It's written on this one. I never remember the name. 12C27. It's the same steel here. You have much more of it. So you see. So it's a bit heavier, it's like around 300 grams, not that heavy. It's not a knife I take if I sleep in the woods or anything, but it's definitely a knife I take in day hikes when I'm with my kids, for example, because it's not an axe, definitely not an axe, but definitely more than a knife. And it's in my pocket here, and for the size of this knife fitting in my pocket, I have a little hugger, little knife that is really good to clean branches and small trees. So it pack a lot of punch for the size. This is what I like, and this is as well why it's not an axe, because yes, it's heavy, yes, it has little things that can remind of an axe, but the shortness makes it that you don't have the speed that you have on the machete with a lens, so it's closer to a knife to that point of view. I will strongly suggest you had this landline here, because then you can have a bit more of a prehension here that makes you use a lot more than a good hugger. So I really suggest this. This is what this knife is missing, is the lens here, the possibility to have a longer, and then you could use maybe more than an axe, but you solve the problem, I think, with a good line here. So you can hold it like this, and it's still very packable, and this I really like. So this is the knife I take now for in the woods, just not sleeping, no food preparation, at least in the summer. So that's it. That was my 3 knife. I forgot to take now. I realized I wanted to bring another knife that I will probably talk about it later. Is the F1 from Fällkniven. It's the knife I take if I go for several days. It's my favorite knife for bushcraft. It's a knife that covers the most of all what we want, but I will talk about it later. So that's it. There was 3 knives here. The favorite, it's probably the ones that I can use. That's the smallest spectrum of use. It's a very specialized knife, but it's more of a personal choice, because it's all classic and it's the knife that I've seen my grandpa having, and it's something very special for me. This is my latest knife. It's a knife that I use definitely for the day, the hike, without getting any other tool. It's packing very small in my pocket, and for a knife that is packing in my pocket, it has quite a lot of punch. I like that you can hold it very close here. It's very comfy, and you can use, for example, to when I harvest bjork skin. I'm looking for the name in English. It's I don't have the name. It's very easy to use. It's you have a good branch end here, and quite a lot of punch here. But the real beast here, and the real good wide spectrum of usability, is definitely the Skrama. This is, I think, if you think just about spectrum, a large spectrum of usefulness of it's gonna be the best of all these knives from far away. It's gonna be as well from far away the best of all the steels, and this is the cheapest knife, so I'm really pushing for this knife, buy this knife, because for the price it's I don't think it's better than this, and it's definitely a very original concept. The thing is, with machete, you're always obliged to hold the knife here, and this is tiring if you hold the time here. But this knife you can come very close, and this is not tiring. This is the balance point here. So best steel, cheapest knife, and the widest from far spectrum, the widest range of versatility. So Skrama, very good stuff. Now I'm gonna have a little coffee.